Monday on Daily Delivery. Patrick Reusse here with me. I'm Michael Rand. Lots to get to, Patrick. I think we got to talk about the Women's World Cup, the earliest exit for the U.S. women ever. Kind of a controversial finish with the penalty kick that basically went in by a millimeter, but we'll talk about that. Maybe a little bit of conference realignment talk as well. These things happen, and things happen fast, Patrick. I think that's the thing I want to talk to you about, man. These things that used to take years to get a team to change conferences. Now that's the kind of thing that can happen overnight, it seems like. But Patrick, you wrote, I think it was for Saturday's paper, about everybody, Twins fans are sick of the Twins. Nobody likes this team, and I think largely you're right. But then, of course, the law of column writing being what it is, they go out and sweep the Diamondbacks this weekend. Hit a whole bunch of home runs doing it. They rout them on Saturday. They had 3 home runs on Friday. That was all their runs. I think 3 solo home runs Friday. Then they hit 2 of them in the 9th inning, one to tie it by Max Kepler and one from Matt Wallner, who we were all yelling at them to call up for about 2 or 3 months, and they finally did, and he's been really good since then. He hits the walk-off on Sunday. They're 4.5 up again. Does your opinion of this team change at all when they go on these little hot streaks, or is this still kind of to you the same team no matter what?
Oh man, I don't know. I can't figure them out.
Yeah.
I was kind of having some fun too for Saturday. The punchline was out of the old movie Network, we're mad as hell and we aren't going to take it anymore. Except I had to throw in there that we're in first place and we're mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore. We're supposed to joke there. But yeah, they were, they go and get beat 3 straight in Kansas City, and there's a bunch of, they got some great mysteries going on. Correa got a handle hit for 2 runs, drove in 2 runs by hitting the ball off the handle, a single yesterday. But, I still can't figure out him. I can't, he comes up the last time yesterday and takes that fastball right down the middle for strike 3 again. What is going on? When did he become a $200 million guest hitter? I mean, I got all these questions about these guys, but, now that Cleveland's given it up, and I was watching actually the end of the Cleveland game yesterday, and they had the White Sox beat. They had Clase in. He got the last out twice, and the third baseman threw the ball away each time. So, Cleveland's terrible. They're not playing. They don't care anymore. So I think the division is pretty well decided, because if they finish 500, they're going to win the division by 5 games. So at least. So I don't know. They're totally capable of going to Detroit and losing 3 out of 4. Detroit's got a bunch of left-handed pitchers lined up against them, and they still have a little trouble against the lefties. That was an eventful a weekend for sure. The Friday game, they kind of sneaked that one out, and then Duran got lucky on Friday, and then it's funny, the plate umpire with Duran, he had a guy struck out, and he didn't call him a strike, and then he threw it 4 inches off the plate, and they call it a strike.
Right.
So, it's the plate umpire, but Friday was and nice crowd, and I showed up for the fireworks, and that was a good game. And then Saturday they pounded them, and then Sunday it's a nice win in the 9th inning. Wallner. Now, Wallner, I wouldn't say we've been campaigning for him for 3 months, but we've been certainly when he came up once early and struck out all the time. He didn't get many at bats, but he was 7 strikeouts and 9 at bats or some dang thing like that.
Yeah.
He had to go back, and he was not considered the prospect that Larnach was. That's for sure. And he went down, and he had the great month, and they didn't call him up, and that's when we were raising heck about him. But the guy we wanted him to replace was Kepler, who's been the best he's ever been for 3 weeks. So, we were all making fun of Falvey, saying, Falvey likes Kepler, and he was telling people in the middle of July, there's a lot there, and we were all saying, it's enough. We've been watching this for 4 years. Let's get rid of him. And now he's been really good. And you know what? He even looks like he's liking to play baseball, which he didn't look for about 4 years. He had other things on his mind. I
Yeah.
don't know what they were.
We even got a fist pump on the game tying home run the other day.
But Wallner is giving him he gives you a better bat than I thought. He'll strike out some, but it's not Joey Gallo, that's for sure. And then that home run he hit yesterday, they said that was 415. I thought it was 415 in the air. It was huge. I was watching on TV. I wish I'd been there to see it because it looked like it was in the air for an hour and a half. And he knew he got it when he hit it. So I thought it was, and it hit off the facing the second deck up there, way over in left center. How could that be 415? But I don't know. It might have been coming straight down or something. But that was I had a hunch watching that at bat that he was going to get a good swing. How would you like to be if those 500 actual Diamondback fans that live in Arizona?
Right.
They'd be very upset. They gave up a couple of good prospects for this Seawald, who's just, because it's Seattle. Since Seattle basically gave up, they've won 6 in a row. And these guys tried to load up. They, and now this guy that's messed up a couple of games for him already. It's really odd. The Angels loaded up, right? The Angels said, "We're going to go. We're going to try." They haven't won since.
I saw that.
They haven't won since.
It's amazing.
Seattle's won them all. The teams that gave up, the teams that did nothing are winning, and the teams that did something are losing. Basically, is the way it's been going. But
it's like the 2017 Twins when they couldn't decide if they were buyers or sellers, and they got rid of Kinsler and they traded Jaime Garcia right after they got him, and then they started winning.
Yeah, they had him for a week, and then they got mad. That's exactly the what I keep thinking of is that season there. Is okay. We thought we were going to be good, but then we lost 5 in a row, so we're going to trade Jaime, and now we're going to. Then Dozier, I think Dozier called the big team meeting and said, "Let's show these SOBs," So
yeah.
That was the first season for Falvey and
correct
for Falvey too. But
yes.
I mean they get I did not expect Kepler to come out of a 4-year coma. I'll admit that. I didn't think Wallner would be quite this good. So, it's and Julian, he went kind of downhill for about 10 days, and now he's had a bunch of hits again and got on base a bunch of times. They missed Kirilloff, but I really don't know. The starting pitching is still good. Keuchel is not going to beat anybody that has got any hitters on him, but right now Arizona's in the tank. But that is some serious slop he's throwing up there. And although he did yesterday, about half the hitters were hit 12 miles an hour. They were little rollers, but that's not going to work. But give him a couple of starts and then put Ryan back in the rotation. That'll be how that works. But
when's the last time a guy got through 5 innings and only gave up 1 run and didn't strike out anybody? He had 0 strikeouts yesterday. It was amazing.
He got 12 base runners.
Yeah,
eight hits.
8 hits, 2 walks. I don't know what else, but yeah,
maybe just 10 base runners. But he did get the 3 double plays right off the bat. So, but he's that's him. But I don't know. You know what? One thing that shocked me is Maeda has been pretty good. He's had one lousy game, and but he's been pretty good. So I didn't think there was much left there. So they're gonna have a chance to stretch their postseason losing streak to 21 games the way it looks now. So
it'd only be 20 this year probably if it was.
That's
the best of 3. Yeah.
That first round's only the best of 3.
The wild card's a best of 3. Yeah.
Wow.
And all of them will be at Target Field though. So that would give the fans you're talking about an extra reason to dislike this team because they'd be playing the last wild card, presumably, unless by some miracle they became the second division winner. But I don't see that happening. And then
I didn't read the comments, but there was almost 200 comments on the column that I wrote that appeared in Saturday's paper about, we're not going to take it anymore. And I'm sure that it was, if you would have written, boy, this team's pretty good, you would have had 6, and brought out the Twins bashers and the cheap poll ads and all that stuff. So I didn't read much of them, but it was written in the humor of the situation. But I've been really down on this team all year. They drive me crazy the way they just strike out ungodly numbers of time. Why is Joey Gallo here? Why is he here? What is this accomplishing? He's now up to 43% strikeouts in plate appearances. That's not on ABs.
No.
It's 43% of his plate appearances. He's got no chance. I don't get it. He's a tall target at first base. Is that a good enough reason to have him here? I just don't get it. I guess that, right now with, some of the injuries they have, I guess it doesn't make any difference. But I tell you, this is doing no good. Them playing pretty good right now. Since Buxton went on the DL, that does him no good anyway.
No.
People, as soon as he comes back, if they stop winning again, they're going to say, "What's he doing back?" So it's a interesting situation, to say the least. The irrational lack of hitting most of the season, and then every once in a while they pop up and look okay at the plate.
Well, and I think that's part of why you talk about Buxton and Correa, Gallo, for a long time this season, Kepler. Their lineup's been upside down. I was kind of poking around at this the other day. It was, I think, Friday night. I don't know why I was tweeting about this at 7:00 on a Friday night. I think we were just waiting for some food to get delivered. I was just looking it up. I was like, at that point, there's 7 highest paid position players. None of them had a WAR over 1 this year. Correa, Buxton, Gallo, Vasquez, Kepler, Polanco, and Farmer. And they combined to make $91 million this year. And their 5 position players that had a WAR over 1 make about $10 million total. Jeffers, Castro, Solano, Julian, and Taylor. They're upside down. It's like the guys who are producing are their young, cheap guys, and the guys who aren't producing are the ones that they're paying a lot. And that frustrates fans, I'm sure.
And yes, that's kind of what I tried to point out is that, the guys like Correa, Buxton, and Gallo,
For sure, those 3 big time.
3 guys are like, it is just crazy that the lack of production they've gotten from the money from the guys they've spent money on. It is weird. It is a very weird team, but it's better than a week ago when it was a very hated team.
Yes.
So we were talking, I think, last Monday about everybody's just down on this team. And a week ago, they were 1 game ahead maybe or something like that. So I don't know. I don't know what they're, I guess that's the great thing about modern baseball. You're never sure, unless you get the really, really good club, you're never sure. But which makes it fun, I guess. But it's also, they're still drawn okay. They had a nice weekend. They had 29, and then Joe's, I think they had 35 or so for the Joe thing on Saturday, right? And then
I think so, yeah.
And then they had, I don't know what they had yesterday with the 2-hour rain delay, but why they delay that game? It's sprinkling. Let's go play ball. What are we doing?
It rained a little bit in there. I don't know. I think they
rain much. Come on, there's no lightning. Let's go.
It doesn't matter anymore because even if you delay it by 2 hours, it ends in about the same amount of time it would have ended last year.
Yeah, that is true. That is true, to say the least. But I don't know. I wasn't there yesterday. I was in Golden Valley, and it wasn't raining at all, and I'm 4 miles away from the ballpark. So I keep going on my weather. Play ball. What are you doing here?
Let's go. Let's go here.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. There was other stuff to watch, and then the ball game starts at 3:10 or whatever it is. So.
Yeah. It was like a West Coast start instead of a regular start. Yeah, I still don't know what to make of this team either. I feel like we bounce around on them because
Yes, we
they've
do.
had it hasn't been a lot of like, hey, a couple wins here, then one loss, and then a win, and then two losses. It's been streaks. It's been like 5 out of 6, and then it's kind of, they look bad doing it, and then they rally and win some games. And if they're not, it still boils down to if they're hitting home runs, they're going to be okay. And if they're not, they're not. And they hit a ton of home runs this weekend, and, they can just as easily go back the other direction. But, to your point, winning the division at this point almost feels unavoidable. Even if they, and I still think this is probably an 84, 85 win team once they get down to it. Because that means probably playing about 500 the rest of the way, right? Because they're 4 or 5 games over 500 now.
Once they get to September and they get the extra pitchers up there, they can go to a 6-man rotation in September, I think is probably, and just coast to the, save the innings for over, and then maybe Joe Ryan will get shaped up again, and you can, it looks like you're going to just be able to relax in September almost, doesn't it? You're not going to have to push your pitchers at all. Let Duran pitch about twice a week. They're getting him out there where he's been used almost too much.
Yeah.
When you consider he throws 102, that's, everybody says that one. There was 4 pitches that are 104. Okay, that's great, but let's not be doing that all the time. Because I don't care how big and strong and natural it is. 102 is not the same as throwing a 91 like Keuchel is. I'll tell you that, or 88 or something. And I think they ought to take it easy on him here for a while, and not ask him to, for sure not ask him to go 2 innings anymore like he did 3 or 4 times. So that's when they were desperate to win some games. The desperation is, there's a very good chance the desperation will be gone here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it could be, especially as
ease it back,
especially as, like you say, Cleveland probably plays a bunch of prospects in September as they try to get a look at guys, and that's when seasons can unravel for those teams. Remember, I was just thinking about this. I remember it wasn't that long ago, maybe even like 10 years ago, when it was a big deal when someone could throw 96, 97. Yeah. These guys are just pumping it up there so fast now, like 98 to 100. Like a guy hitting 100 is not news anymore. It's like everybody's got somebody that can throw 100. It's amazing what these guys are doing velocity wise.
Caleb Thielbar 5 miles faster at 38 than he was at whatever the hell he is, and he was at 30. And I think it's Driveline and those and all those people that have the same, Driveline they're not the only outfit doing
the places like that. Yeah.
They're adding velocity. And that's also probably why 51% of the Twins pitchers were on the DL last year, too.
Yes.
Too. I think that's, we're trying to say, well, maybe it's, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But I think that, throwing that hard and throwing optimum, throwing that breaking balls, even, nobody ever just lobs a breaking ball up there. They're all max effort. And that wasn't the way you did it. Verlander, one of the last of the, I'm going to throw 92 until you guys can hit, and then until you hit me, and then I'll throw 98 or 99.
Right.
That's kind of the way guys, great starting pitchers used to pitch, but they don't do that anymore. They just go max and as long as they can. So
speaking of starting pitching, I want to move on to Big Ten and women's soccer here in a minute, but had this conversation with Phil Miller last week, and I've been thinking about it. Assuming the Twins do make the postseason, and knowing what we know right now, and a lot of things can change in 2 months. What would your Patrick Reusse? What would your postseason 1 through 3 rotation be in a wild card series?
Well, Ober would be in there for sure. I'd try to back him off a little down the stretch to get him fresh. I'd say Sonny Gray, Ober, and I don't know. I don't know if Joe Ryan will be trustworthy by then. So, I don't know who the third would be. I'm not sure. Not Keuchel.
No,
I don't know. Well, obviously Pablo. Yeah,
Pablo. Yeah,
Pablo will be Pablo. I think I'd pitch Pablo game 1, and then over game 2, and let Sonny try to save me in game 3 if I got, if it went that far. I mean, Sonny. I don't know. As cautious as Sonny is, not going after hitters, I don't know if I want him pitching game 1. He might go 4 2/3 and throw 102 pitches because he's trying to hit that little nook of the corner on every pitch. And now, the other day he was on 55 pitches and 5 innings or something like that because he was going after people. I mean, he's a competitor. I don't. They would be going into this playoff series with those 3 guys if they're fully healthy and better shape than they've been in a long time.
Yes.
Right? They won't have to start the dauber
in game 2
in a playoff game in Yankee Stadium. That won't be even if they're the games will be here. But they don't have to start the dauber. They don't have to start, Brian Dunsey, who hadn't started hardly all year,
or Boof Bonser.
Boof Bonser in game 2. Yeah, right. Back in, that was the team, baby. That was the team that could have done. And if Liriano hadn't gotten hurt, because you could have, even after they lost game 1 to Oakland that year, they could have come back with Liriano in game 2.
Yes.
Johan lost. They come back with Liriano in game 2. Well, it won't be Liriano, it'll be Boof.
Boof Bonser. Not quite the same. Not quite the same.
But, I mean, the pitching would be... They wouldn't be, a lot of, look at their history of losing playoff games. How many times have you really felt they had the advantage in the starting pitching when the game started? So
usually only when Johan was pitching. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. So that's one reason they've lost 18 in a row.
Yes.
MGM Wine and Spirits is the choice for savings, service, and a great selection of spirits, premixed cocktails, wines, and of course, ice-cold beers and hard seltzers. With over 30 locations throughout the Twin Cities and beyond, there's an MGM near you. Head to mgmwineandspirits.com to find a convenient location in your area. Get social. Follow MGM on Facebook and Instagram for all the latest news and trends. Make great moments with MGM Wine and Spirits, your locally owned and operated choice for over 50 years. Save time, save money. Shop MGM.
Has anybody else joined the Big Ten since we started recording? I mean, so we got Washington and Oregon now. That's 18. I'm guessing it's going to get to 20 at some point, right? I mean,
Notre Dame and whoever else. You know what's going to happen? The University of California at Berkeley is going to drop football. Who are they going to play?
Yeah, Cal and Stanford are sitting there in this 4-team conference now.
Yes, Stanford here. Hey, come on out and watch the Golden Bears play Wyoming in our homecoming game.
Right?
This crucial Mountain West contest with the Wyoming or somebody. I mean, they're dead. What are they going to do?
I don't know.
I've hated college football for years because it's so phony. And this we're battling for the university, and you can't criticize the players because they're college students and blah, blah, blah. These scumbags running these schools, you talked before we came on, they made these decisions in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
The trustees at the University of Washington, the guy was on a golf course doing a Zoom call with the other trustees to approve this. This is 100 years of tradition that you've been in that league on the Pacific. We've gone out there to the big thing in my life as a kid was, could we ever go to the Rose Bowl and play the Pacific Coast Conference champion? And now there isn't one.
No.
But the Rose Bowl is, it's Midwest versus West. That's what it was always, that's what it was about. And that was the goal. This is, they're doing this for business reasons. Fine, go take all the money or not, but don't expect us to treat you any different than the pros now.
No.
And why didn't they just do it in football? Why didn't they just do it in football and let the other conferences, let the other sports keep playing who they were playing? Maybe develop a national collegiate football league or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The University of our guy where's our new volleyball coach? He came from Washington, right?
Keegan Cook, I believe he came from Washington.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, now he's in a conference. He could have stayed.
I know.
He could have been here. He'll be here in a couple of years. It's
if you always want to be, if you always wanted to be in the Big Ten, just wait a while. You might be in the Big Ten.
Yeah, right. Who? I mean, what are they going to do with their non-conference schedules and all these other?
I don't know. It's going to be like a 5-hour flight. All these things are like 5-hour flights. Like Rutgers against Oregon in women's tennis. Like you want to fly across the country? Like
what are they going to? They're obviously going to use pods now, right? Who's going to end up stuck in the West Coast pod? If you got 18 teams, well, 18 is, I guess you got 3 6-team divisions then, right? Or something in the other sports.
Maybe.
Even in basketball, it's a joke now. It's there's, here's our traditional rival. Well, no, we might not get to play Iowa this year. We're only going to play them once or something. It's just a joke. It's
18 is a lot. Like,
God almighty. Yes. Why did it happen? I don't get, why didn't we just keep the money? It's TV telling them to take these teams is what it is. Right? Isn't it?
Yeah, because then you expand your reach and you make it, you get divided up more. But
you get Oregon, then Nike will advertise with you or some dang thing, So the Big Ten is basically run by Fox, right? And the SEC by ESPN.
I think that's right. Yeah, because ESPN and the SEC network are tied together.
Yes, and so it's Fox and it's the Big Ten network, and there's about 3 or 4 partners, right? But Fox is calling the shots supposedly.
Yeah.
And keep taking them. So we're gonna. What the funny thing is, what's going to happen in the ACC?
Well, Florida State's.
Yeah, but the SEC doesn't want Florida State. Florida State's got terrible facilities. They had the old reputation, but they've never spent any money on their facilities down there. Florida State's saying, please take us. And they're saying, we want Miami and Clemson.
Huh.
So if they take anybody, but that's what happens then? If the Pac-10 went, how about these hypocrites 2 years ago having, what did they call that thing?
The handshake, the big alliance they made with the handshake.
The big alliance.
I don't know what it was called exactly, but yeah.
Whatever the alliance was.
I looked him in the eye.
Looked each other in the eye. Looked each other in the eye. What a bunch of scumbags. The hell with college football. It's who are we going to play? How's it going to work? Are they telling us it's going to be an 18-team league? Hey, we had a good year. We finished 11th.
I mean, if there's 18 teams, like there's going to be teams that you don't play in football like for 5 years sometimes, right? Like or longer, depending on how this works. Now, there's no divisions starting.
Somebody said they can have division. They're going to have playoffs within the conference. Not just the conference title game. Well, you can't have these guys playing 17 games.
Right.
For God's sakes. They're, so you got to play your 12 regular season games, which is stupid. Maybe you can get rid of. Then what are you going to do? Have quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals in football? And then you're up to 15 games, and then you got to go into the 12-team college playoff, which is going to be 16 teams now when this is over.
Yeah.
You got to get 19 games out of these guys.
Gosh, you're right. You're right.
That can't happen. You can't be that stupid. God almighty.
If there's money at the end of it,
yeah, it is. It is
unbelievable.
Now, if you're donating $5 to the University of Minnesota Athletic Department, you're an idiot. Let them worry about their own problems. Don't give them a nickel. So, let them get their money from let them get their money from TV. You don't need to donate anything to them, ladies and gentlemen. Don't give them $5. And the NIL, this idea that the colleges can't take it. The NCAA saying the colleges can't take this money and just put it into NIL. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? It's just a way for the colleges to try to get you to give them money. Why not? Let's, pay them whatever you want to, pay the football players whatever you want to.
There's
now,
no
the good thing is the NIL and everything, and then now the football will be trying to spend more money than they've ever spent. There are going to be a lot of lawsuits here, and I don't know if, by the other, athletes and other programs.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And cut. Yeah, it's ridiculous, but I don't know. It can cause me to watch even less low, small time. I've always said football is the only sport I like better the lower it goes. Like I like high school, then I like small college,
right?
Then NFL, and then the NFL, and that's going to be truer than ever now. So.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know where it stops at a certain point, but yeah, the fact that it happens so fast now is just it's amazing.
You made the great point before we started. These are monumental decisions made in 20 minutes.
Yes,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's like okay,
nobody thought, nobody paused. They can't even. There's other trustee meetings too that they've been. We found out about that they're making this decision in like 8 minutes. But one guy, they showed the guy from the golf course.
Yes.
And then where did I see these other rubes there?
Yeah.
It was like 13 bleep kickers getting together. I the first one at Texas A&M, right? No, not Texas A&M. Who's just left for somebody? One of the Texas schools is, I guess, accepting the Big 12 people coming in. They had these 13 nitwits that looked like they couldn't run a bake sale, and they were their board of trustees. Unbelievable.
Well, we'll see.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I was going to say we can be done with them, but let's talk women's soccer before we go, because that was
all right.
The U.S. women's team barely got into the round of 16, and I think we pretty well forecasted that this wasn't the team that it had been. They've lost a lot of their star firepower over the last 4 years, and the team that won in
8 million girls playing soccer. Where are they?
Yeah,
where's the next generation? Why aren't they cutting the cord with these old fossils and bringing in new blood? What is Rapinoe doing on the team? She stinks. She's too old.
Yeah.
She's so good. So what? That she was the face of. This is like, I don't know, bringing back Kevin McHale to play in the
Kevin McHale. Wow.
I mean, she's no good anymore. What is she doing there?
She was not good in this. She was not good. You're right.
Why would they not cut the cord with these old gals?
Leadership, right?
Oh,
leadership.
Yeah, leaders. They scored 3 goals against Vietnam.
Yes.
Which got scored out, didn't score a goal in 3 games, 12-0. They got outscored. Then they got 1 goal after that. 1 goal.
Yes.
It was a penalty kick, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. They're terrible. You know what, though? In 1999, Brandy Chastain and that whole thing.
Yeah.
You know why we were so much better than the rest of the world then? Because nobody else gave a damn.
Yeah.
They didn't have any teams.
No.
They didn't spend any money.
Correct.
Brazil had spent $45 on its women's or pesos or whatever the hell they use down there. Nobody else cared.
No.
We were dominant because nobody else had women's soccer, and it took a long time to Europe to get it. And then South America started getting some of it too.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I mean, we were dominant because we played. The rest of them didn't. It was kind of like women's hockey when it started. But
kind of like men's basketball too, where the world is catching up to it, where they're starting to invest in it, and the players are there now.
Yeah, but it was U.S. and Canada and women's hockey have played every year for 100 years. But I mean, it's what why do you have to bring in the same crew back? Where was the fresh stars? There's got to be there's got to be a million of these kids playing in programs that have, been developed just like every other sport. I don't get why they, softball doesn't have to bring back the same crew every year.
That's true.
I don't know.
I think part of the problem, my friend John Marthaler explained it to me. He said part of the problem is some of the young, this young next wave, they got hurt. They were supposed to. Excuse me. There was this next wave that was supposed to come in, and some of them got hurt before the Cup. I don't know if that explains the presence of some of these older players still, or if it just kind of bumped some of these other players up. But the bigger point that he made the other day, I think I talked to him for the podcast, like right before the Cup started, was that the Americans, even when they were really good, they weren't really known for their great game plans or their tactical excellence. They were just better than everybody else, and their individual talent and their kind of confidence and spirit carried them through. And now that other teams have, like, they've come down, other teams have come up, they haven't really adjusted to that. They still are not great tactically. They're still not great, with any kind of like game planning. And I think that more than anything caught up to them here. It's like, oh, we can't just win on talent alone. Now we're in trouble.
Well, they were certainly in trouble. One goal
after being
Vietnam, that was I think Vietnam's closest game, right? They gave up 7-1, and then they gave up 2. They didn't score.
No,
but by the way, all the scores I looked at and went, they were all 2-1 or 1-0. What's going on here? Somebody score some goals. Let's go.
Yeah.
What a joke.
Yeah.
We were supposed to get all excited, and the Turkey chairman has already been notified.
Oh,
memos have been sent to the Turkey chairman not to forget the women's soccer team laying the biggest. I don't want to know what I want to say. So they what a failure.
Underachieved. They underachieved.
Did we still have the watch parties, or by the end were the watch parties pretty well down to nothing?
Well, I mean, the games were like 2 a.m., 4 a.m. Like the game times were not great. So I think that took a little bit of the momentum out of it, because the first 2 I think were like 8 p.m. starts. Those were fine, but I don't think since then they've played any time that any sane person would, have a watch party. You might make an accommodation to get up or stay up, but that was that was not great, and they're out. And did you see the winning goal against them yesterday? The video replay that showed basically that it crossed the goal line by about a millimeter. It could not have been any closer than that.
Good. Couldn't happen to when you scored 1 goal in 3 matches. The 3 competitive matches, you deserve any bad break you get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I was making fun of him on Twitter, and somebody was really complaining about the coach, the tactics. We had terrible tactics. So
we did.
Yeah.
Terrible tactics.
Tactics should be run down and put it in the net. See that person in front of you, or pass it around her and go in and score. With this old thing about tactics, attack, go.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Maybe Patrick Reusse will be the head coach of the U.S. women's national team in 2027, and we'll turn this thing around.
Well, I can guarantee you it wouldn't be all 1-0. They might be 7-5, but
I'd watch that.
We'd be trying to score goals. We wouldn't be messing around.
Let's do it. The heck with you. The heck with you being the next Gopher football beat writer. Let's get you this job as the remember your Twitter campaign a few years ago to be the Gopher beat writer?
Yeah, that's right. I was going to be the Gopher beat writer. Yeah, PJ will. What are they? They're going to have some division set up, aren't they?
Something
18-team league. You can't say, wow,
yeah.
We're going to get. The bad thing about this is we may not get to play Northwestern every year now.
No, we're all
going to be in the tank for 5 years now, at least, after this mess that they're in.
The schedule will never be as easy as it was.
Maybe we can, to make the league a little less clumsy, we can throw Northwestern out for ethical
there you go.
Northwestern of all people is the blight on the pride of this conference. Yeah,
maybe at a certain point they'll start ditching teams. That'd be interesting, huh?
Yeah. Oh, that could be bad because we could be the ones.
That's a good point. We don't exactly hold that. We hold down an important TV market. Okay,
we'll keep you in volleyball, but the heck with the rest of it.
It's an important TV market, and that's all they care about.
How many no hockey? We have added no hockey schools, right? We've added like 12 schools and no hockey schools.
Yes, I believe that's correct. Yeah.
And now Arizona State is going to the
Big 12.
No, but they're also going to a hockey league too.
Oh yeah, I think they're going to
Who took them in hockey? NCHC.
I think it's the NCHC. Yeah.
And I got a plan as the Big Ten commissioner. I'm going to go steal North Dakota.
Ooh, whoa!
Big Ten hockey.
There you go.
Except they don't want to give them any money to do it. They want, throw North Dakota $15 million to come and play in your hockey league. But they don't like giving any of their money away. So.
No, they don't.
Anyway, a disgrace on college athletics and everything, and supposedly, and of course, never really did stand for. But we'll go here. But in the last 3 years, college athletics have changed more in the last 3 years than they had in 100, probably.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing.
You can now pay guys, and you can now, be in a conference with 18 teams.
Yeah,
8 of which never played hardly. So,
and you can transfer willy-nilly. It is a much different college athletics than it was in 2019. I say pre-pandemic, everything has changed since then.
I'm going to one college football game. I'm going to St. Thomas at Harvard on September 16th.
Yes.
We'll have a little tradition there, damn it.
There you go.
While you Gopher phonies are watching the phony Gophers, I'll be at the Gopher holders are worried about Eastern Illinois or wherever we're playing.
I think that's actually the weekend they're playing in North Carolina, and I'm actually going to that. I'm actually going to that game because I have a friend out there, and we're gonna watch that game that weekend.
Yeah, there's promising young coach down there too, Mac Brown. So, all right,
sir. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.
If Fleck stays there 30 years, that's who we'll be, Mac Brown. See you later. Goodbye.